All right, fifth grade, this is your April 27th math assignment. I am doing the online version, but for those of you that are doing a packet, it is almost the exact same. It just looks a little different because I copy and pasted it into a document. So patterns are a set of repeating sequences. So anytime these numbers on top of the table, those are going to be called terms. So in this table, the terms are 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. So they're counting by twos, starting at 3. So we've got two different patterns here. We've got pattern number 1, which is right here. And then we've got pattern number 2, which is right here. And I want you to see if you can figure out what the rule is or what would come next in this pattern. All right, so both of these patterns start with 3. As you notice, when I get to the next term, I have added 2. When I get to the next term, I have added 2 again. And the next turn, I've now added 3 2s. This one, I have added 4 2s. So I want you to go ahead and pause the video really quick and tell me what you think. All right, if you didn't pause the video and figure it out, the sixth term would be, since there's 4 2s in this one, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the next term would be 5 2s. So 3 plus 5 2s. And so on. If we were to go forth, it would be 3 plus 6 2s, 3 plus 7 2s, going on and on and on. All right, the next term is a little different. We're not adding now, we're now multiplying. So the first one, we just have a regular 3 like we did up here. This term, we've got 1 times 2. In this term, we've got 2 times 2. In this term, we've got 3 times 2. This term, we've got 4 times 2. So the next term would probably be what? Pause the video and think about it. You said 5 times 2. That would be correct. Because every time you're adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the next term after this one would be 6 times 2. All right, so what it's asking you to do on this next one is to write your own pattern. So it's giving you the rule and telling you what your pattern should have, and it's got to begin with a 2 and then add 2 every single time, and you have to have 5 numbers. So the number that it told me to start with would be 2, so I would put 2 first, and then I have to add 2 every single turn. So if I do 2, then that would be 4, because I'm adding 2. 4 plus 2 would be 6. 6 plus 2 would be 8. 8 plus 2 would be 10. Let's count and see if I have 5 terms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I do. So that's the pattern that I made. This next pattern, it says I also have to have 5 terms or numbers, but I have to begin with a 4 and then add 4 every time instead of adding 2. Let's go 4, 8, 12, 16, because I'm adding 4. 16 plus 4 would be 20. Let's count by 4s. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 terms. I added 4 every time, and I started with a 4. So I'm not going to do the next 2. I want you to try to do those ones on your own. This one is it begins with a 9, and you add 9 every time. This is it begins with a 3, and then adds 3 every single time. So that is how you would do writing your own patterns. And hopefully I can erase this really quick. There we go. Okay, so now that you've written your own patterns and you can kind of see how it works, you are going to try and figure out what the pattern is in these tables. Then you're going to explain what the rule was or what the pattern was. What were they doing to the numbers every single time? So in this one, we've got the number of days late and then the late fee. So if you have 1 day of overdue book, you have 15 cents of a late fee. If you have 2 days of an overdue book from the library, then you have 30 cents of a late fee. All right, so I would ask you to figure out what is the difference between these two numbers? How do I get from 15 to 30? What number do I have to add? So go ahead and pause the video, see if you can figure it out. All right, if you did not pause the video, hopefully your answer is 15 because 15 plus 15 would be 30. So to get this next one, I'm gonna have to add 15 every time. So 30 plus 15 would be 45. 45 plus 15 would be 60. 60 plus 50 is 75. So I completed the table. Now I have to say what the rule is. And the rule was to add what every time? 15. 15 cents every time your book was late. Okay? So that is how you would do that. You would finish the table, and when the table was finished, then you would tell me what you had to do to get all the numbers. All right, so this one, you've got bicycles and you've got wheels. So if I have one bicycle, how many wheels do I have? 2. If I have 2 bicycles, how many wheels do I have? Well, if I have 2 wheels per bicycle and I have double that amount, that would be 4. This would be 6, because if I have 3 bikes with 2 wheels on each, that would be 6. If I have 4 bikes with 2 wheels on each bike, that would be 8. What am I adding each time? I'm not going to tell you that. That would be the rule. The difference between those numbers would be the rule. So how I got from here to there would be the rule. Okay? So make sure you write that at the bottom of your table. This one's a little bit trickier because it does not give you what number 1 is. So the only thing that I have is that to get from 2 to 3, from here to there, I have to figure out the difference between those numbers. So I'm going to subtract 105 minus 70. 5 minus 0 is 5. 10 minus 3 would be, or 7 would be 3. So 35 is how I would get from there. So my rule is I have to go by 35. So if I have to go by 35 between each term, how would I get from 70 down to 1? What would I have to subtract? Think about it. Pause the video. See if you can figure it out. Yeah, so 70, I would have to subtract 70 minus 35 to get what my first term is. If I regroup and take away 1 from the 7 and put it over here, 10 minus 5 is 5. So I would start with 35 in this first box. And then going forward, I would just add 35 to the previous numbers until I filled in the boxes. So my rule would be 35. All right, and then the last one, I'm not going to help you figure out how to do that, but if you do need help, just let me know, and I can help you out with showing how to do that problem if you're confused. So these are patterns. It's pretty easy if you just think about the difference between the numbers. If you ask yourself, how do I get from here to there or there to here? It's going to be the same between each number, and that is what your rule is going to be. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions at all, please reach out to me, and happy Monday.